Well, we're still in a shutdown with no end in sight. The stake starts now.
I
Good
always wanna
evening,
dance to
everyone,
that.
and welcome to the Stakes. Yes, I love that intro, and a lot of people love that intro. I am Tara Setmayer, co-founder of the Seneca Project. That is not Michelle Kinney.
Uh-uh.
That is Mallory Hagan, the National Press Secretary for the Seneca Project and new hot mama.
Ah!
Welcome, Mallory.
Hi, so good to be back. Happy to be here live tonight.
Listen, thrilled to have you. And when you talk about being back, I mean, she is back. Ladies and gentlemen, she is 3 weeks postpartum, looking fabulous, and she's a warrior woman, and I love her, and glad you could hang out with me tonight.
I'm happy to be here. Also, hi to the folks in the chat, but lots of many people are saying hi, so hello, hello.
Yes, a lot of times people don't get to see you because you're behind the scenes doing fun social media
Usually
stuff and
not looking like this.
no,
Not
no.
behind the scenes.
But this is she, and she is here. And Michelle has the night off tonight, but we do have a video that we worked on that we will be showing a little bit later in the show. If you guys have not seen it yet, it's called The People's House. And of course, you know that we weren't going to let Donald Trump demolishing the East Wing of the White House go without giving it the Seneca Project treatment. So stay tuned for that in a little bit. But Mal, man, look, it's the night before Halloween. I have
And
on
things are
my
spooky.
things are spooky, but I don't like spooky things. I like fun and happy things. So when we do Halloween stuff, we don't do spooky things usually. Maybe like Marcel, my husband, will do like a little like funny thing, but we don't do like creepy demon things. Like we don't do that. And I am obsessed with Mary Poppins. For those who followed me for a long time know I'm obsessed with Mary Poppins. This shirt right here says I am supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And 1 year, I literally carved this image
It's
into the pumpkin. And so a couple years ago, my husband was like, because I was the type of person who would do like the triangle eyes and the teeth, and
Mhm.
like that was it. Okay. My mom and I are not artists that way. But when I met my husband, who was very creative and has patience, he said, when we started dating, he's like, we're going to do like real decorative pumpkins. And I was like, I can't do that. He goes, yes, you can. Well, here we are 14 years later, and our pumpkin carvings have become epic, and people look forward to what we do every year. And not only do we like outdo ourselves, we always have some kind of theme. So we play music behind them. So when the kids
Mm.
come to our house, we're the fun house on the block. So we've got pumpkins, we've got the torches, we've got the solar lights going, we've got bales of hay and mums everywhere. Like we're that house. So this year, though, was a little bit of a struggle because there were no superhero movies really. There wasn't any real Disney movies. We don't have kids, so we're not going to do like little kids character things. So I'm like, I've already done Mary Poppins. We did Mandalorian. I did Stranger Things 1 year. Like we've done all of these. Last year we had these epic Kamala, like vote for her. My husband did like a literal Kamala portrait with
Oh,
a
wow.
comma. Oh yeah, with a comma and her face and lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was obnoxious. I did a vote for her. It was crazy. And then last year also Tiki, my beloved kitty of almost 18 years had passed. So I did like a paw with the wings and a tiki. Like it was ridiculous. This
You guys
year
go all out.
we do. And so this year was a little bit of a struggle, but my husband was like, Wicked. I said,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Who doesn't love Wicked? I love Wicked. I love the show. The movie's been fantastic. I can't wait for part two. So, and we get music. So,
Mhm.
I kind of feel like we have to find our bright spots, which stay tuned to the end of the show where we will have our weekly bright spot as well. So I just kind of, do you guys carve pumpkins and stuff, or do you have your little son in a little like pumpkin outfit before we get into the horrible stuff?
Well,
Because there's so much
I was
negatives
gonna say
going on.
people in the chat are saying you have to show pictures, so maybe you need to
I
post some things
I
on
will.
X, for folks to see,
Yes,
and
I always post them on Instagram. My husband's still finishing one of his carvings. It's the only reason why I haven't posted them yet because they have to be all together. So don't worry, folks. If you follow me on social, especially on Instagram, they'll be there.
we'll get them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we decorate. We sometimes paint pumpkins. Well, I'm
Oh,
in Alabama.
Alabama,
Sometimes
Alabama.
we paint pumpkins and sometimes we do carve them, but we've been a little busy with the newborn this year. So he's been wearing his pumpkin onesies, and we do have a little bib that says the cutest pumpkin in the patch. But our yard decor is the same as last year. We have like little tombstones and skulls and stuff out in
Mhm.
the yard for the kids. And we're excited. We have I have bonus boys. They're 8 and 10, and we are going to go trick or treating tomorrow. So it's been a while since I've been door to door. It'll be interesting to see what that's like.
Look at I was just telling my mom how trick or treating is so much different from when I was a kid. Like when I was younger, it was like, "Here's your sack. You got
Mhm.
your outfit." My best friends and I, shout out to one of my best friends since 1st grade, David Bauer in Paramus, New Jersey. We used to plan for Halloween like 2 months in advance. We'd be at the pool during the summer in Paramus, New Jersey, like, "What are we doing for Halloween this year?" And it was like and we would, like, literally map out the neighborhoods, where we were gonna go. We would walk as much ground as we could cover until the lights came on. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Now, kids don't do that now. The parents, like,
Well,
drive them in the
yeah.
cars and stuff and drop them off. I was telling my mom, I was like, "Kids actually get, like, driven around and dropped off." I'm like, "That's no fun."
Yeah, I think it depends on the neighborhood. Like some houses are super
Yeah.
far apart, et cetera, the weather. But I do think it's also, the cities got involved and now they mandate like what hours you can trick or treat.
What?
So kids don't have like they don't have, free reign not all the time. Or at least where we are.
No.
It'll say like trick or treating is from, 5:30 to 8:30 or whatever it is. And then
Wait a
that's
minute.
it. Or
This
or
is
until it gets
news.
dark.
This is
Yeah.
news to me.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's like somewhat to keep some of the older kids from acting in the riffraff ways, but
I
but
I
but I feel like it keeps kids from being able to like hop around to neighborhoods and do that kind of thing. So you kind of have to plan in advance about where you're going to go, which has actually been a conversation in our house this week. We're like, which neighborhood are we doing?
Oh my god, that just ruins things. I tell you, kids today have been robbed of, like, the fun childhood. I'm a Gen Xer. We were the last generation, I think, maybe the older millennials to really
I was
just
gonna
have
say I had
fun.
a flip phone, so I still
Yeah.
feel like I got it. The phones and the tracking devices and the cameras everywhere and all that. I
No, we
good
had no phones, we had nothing.
good
We
thing.
had some street lights and we had sacks, okay? We
Yeah.
didn't have we had, like, our or maybe if we were lucky, you had some kinda, like, decorative bag thing, but, like, it has become a whole thing now, and it just, like,
You gotta get
everything
a
ruined.
pillowcase.
Everything gets like, this whole trunk or treat thing, I never heard of that. I was like, "What is this trunk or treat thing?" I guess that's another way of controlling the stuff. I mean, we used to go to our teachers' houses and, like, bob for apples and stuff and get, like, all dressed up and go to Mrs. So and so's house in school, like
Your teachers'
yes,
houses?
our teachers do
Wow.
that, yeah, or we would have, like, we had the Halloween parade in school where during if Halloween fell during the week, we'd have a whole Halloween parade in school, so everybody would dress up and all the grades would get I
That's
mean,
fun.
like I said, it's, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
get us a cane. Kids these days.
I'm telling you, this is when I really feel the 50, right? This is really where I feel the 50. But well, in the chat, guys, let us know what you call what you did. Did you guys also do what I did, or am I dating myself? Or do you live in a town that mandates the hours where you could trick or treat? What kind of shit is that? Like what Mallory's talking about. This is news.
Yeah.
But also one last thing, and then we'll talk about the shutdown and all the other horrible ghoulish
All
things
the
that are
other
happening.
actual spooky stuff that's
I
going on.
know, I know. Um, what do you call the night before Halloween? Tonight. What do you call that night?
Nothing.
Yes, you do. You didn't have, like it wasn't called, like, mischief night or something like that the night
No,
before
but someone
Halloween?
did just put in the chat, "Did you have mischief night?" But
Oh
no.
my gosh, that's gone
Oh,
too
oh, it
now?
says tonight is Mad Night in Canada. I've never heard of these things.
Oh my see, this is where you're showing your
But I'm
age
also
now.
okay, to be fair, you said you don't like spooky stuff or ghoulish. I'm not
True.
a Halloween person. I haven't been in a really, really long time. Halloween freaks me out because people who are actually crazy get dressed up and do crazy stuff. And I
Right.
lived in New York City from the time I was 19, and
Ah,
that's when people act a fool. So I've
yeah.
never really been a Halloween person. That said,
Okay.
these are new. This is
So,
news to me. Mad Night,
yeah.
Mischief Night.
So where I'm from in New Jersey, it's very, very local specific. It's called Cabbage Night. If there's anyone in the chat that is from Bergen County, New Jersey, you know what I'm talking about. I didn't
Cabbage.
know it was called anything else. Some people call it Goosey Night. I didn't know it was called anything else other than Cabbage Night until I was in college. Because growing up in Jersey, where I'm from in Jersey, that's what you called it. So I was like, and yes,
Well, what does
because
that
then
mean? What does that even mean?
because you would pull pranks. So there would be
Um,
pranks. So I guess the
but what did the
cabbage.
pranks have to do with cabbage? Listen, I'm
I
gonna have
think
to.
people threw cabbages like at or something on the lawns, or I forget
Uh,
where the original cabbage night came from for that part because it doesn't really make sense.
yeah.
But that's when but the worst things they would like take shaving cream and put it on your mailbox or maybe toilet paper your front lawn or
So just
stuff like that.
just
Just
all the stuff we did during what we called junior senior war.
yeah.
Lots of folks are saying pillowcase, yes. Even when Krista says we ran through the cemetery to get to the rich side of town, eggs, toilet paper.
Yes. Yes. So okay, I don't feel like I'm like the only one here.
Well, someone said if you didn't give candy, your house got egged.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, I never did that
Now
because I
you
was
could
a
get
good
arrested
kid,
for that, just so
but
we're
listen,
clear.
you have to understand, I could get away with whatever I wanted. My grandfather was captain of the police department, but
Uh,
also because my grandfather was captain of the police department, I wasn't gonna do anything crazy and embarrass him.
yeah.
So, I didn't take advantage of that, you know what I mean? And, like, the person who was the head of the juvenile delinquent section was my softball coach. So, like, there was no acting up,
So
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
you were only slightly into cabbage night.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think we might have toilet papered one of our friends' houses once or I don't know. Like, but nothing we were always worried that something would happen to us. Maybe shaving cream on a mailbox. Maybe. That
Yeah,
was a long time ago. But anyway, those were the good times. Unfortunately, now we're living in the bad times.
I know.
And
This is a bad place.
it, you know, it is and what reminded me even more of like the bad place that we're in is the cost of things. I went to go buy Halloween candy and I almost fell over.
I
I
was
was like,
gonna
"What?"
say, back when we were younger, the cost of candy was not $30 for a thing of Reese's. Like, what?
I know, I couldn't
Can't but
believe
then
it.
you can't be the house that went to the dollar store. You can't be that
Exactly.
house.
No, and you can't be
The
the house that has
Capricorn
the
in me won't let that happen.
exactly. You can't be the house with the shit candy because then you'll get talked about. So
Yeah.
they can't be like, "Oh, that's the cool house with the decorations, but they gave shit candy." Like, because we used to do that. We would talk about people if they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, man,
Or
are
when you saw
you"
your friends walking out, you'd be like, you gotta go over there. They got a full bag of Skittles.
they give the full Snickers, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, guys, if you're coming to my house this year, you're getting the mini size because the full bags,
Oh, no,
they're way
that's
too
way too
expensive. It's
expensive.
like
The mini
$30.
bags are expensive.
I know, completely.
We were just saying that tomorrow we have to go to Costco and do that. And I was like, well, be prepared for $100 worth of candy to be gone in an hour.
Yes.
Crazy.
You have to
Crazy.
ration it. Usually I'm like, "Here, kids, put your hand in the bowl. I don't care." No, we're gonna have to
Meanwhile,
ration it.
other folks around the country are standing in line
Yeah,
for their basic needs. So
right, right, which is just like, what are we doing here? We're in 30 days into a government shutdown, the second longest ever, and kids, how many people are not going to be able to take their kids out trick or treating this year? Maybe they couldn't afford costumes because they're government workers that haven't gotten a paycheck in a month. Or maybe they're military families like you, Mal,
yeah.
where, you guys have only gotten paid kind of, sort of, kind of, and don't know where the rest of that money is coming from. You've got people just that are deployed in the National Guard still in these bullshit things. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Mhm.
And one of the most haunting, infuriating visuals I've seen with the shutdown have been military families standing in lines at food banks. I mean, no American who has a job that works for a living should ever be standing in a food bank line. Okay, that
Mhm.
that should never happen in this country because the Donald Trump and MAGA and Republicans are throwing a temper tantrum, and literally the pain is the point. And here we are, and I'm like, this is it's unnecessary. We're
Yeah.
not in a pandemic. There isn't a worldwide pandemic or a recession that has crashed the economy and shut things down. That no, it's because Donald Trump and his MAGA minions have decided that they want to keep the government closed to inflict as much pain as possible on people and try to blame the Democrats. And
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
they're holding the government hostage. And I think what's really important, especially coming from a military family right now, my husband's an officer, so thank goodness on any given day we are just fine. But there are people who are enlisted who are at the beginning of their careers and who are living already on extremely limited resources and serving our country, serving the nation, something that Donald Trump and many people who are in Congress don't know anything about.
Right.
Their families are making sacrifices on a daily basis as is,
That's
and
right.
they are already utilizing programs like SNAP. I want to highlight that there are many people out there who have created and furthered this narrative that anybody who's on SNAP is a deadbeat person who needs to get a job, who's lazy or whatever they have drummed up in their head and repeated from Fox News. And I just want people to understand that there are people who are serving our country right now who are utilizing SNAP benefits. There are teachers in your very neighborhood and school system and communities. There are firefighters. There are police officers. All of these roles and these people who sacrifice a lot to serve us, to protect us, to educate us, they're not being paid livable wages as is. They are utilizing SNAP. And so this government shutdown and the reduction of SNAP resources, these people waiting in lines to make sure, because right now it's that they're in preparation for not being able to get that check and feed their family. And so I just want to reiterate that the people who are utilizing SNAP benefits, first of all, are largely majority white, and second of all, are people who have jobs.
Thank you for making that point, Mallory, because the mainstream media doesn't seem to get that. Because if I see one more person of color on television to talk about losing their SNAP benefits or being a government worker who can't afford gas to get to their job, I'm going to scream. Not to say that people of color aren't suffering also. Yes, they are. However,
it's the way it's being
portrayed. It goes back to the welfare queen stereotype that it is only people of color and poor people, and like you said, lazy people that don't want to work, that are living off the government dole and all of that. That is not the case. That is not the case in 2025. Hasn't been the case for quite some time, actually, since welfare reform in the 90s. A lot has changed, and they need to. And part of the messaging part of this, which is why I'm like, Democrats, this is being served up on a platter. There should be pictures, videos, testimonials of the military families, not black military families, white military families,
rural people,
right? White women. Like I saw a woman on CNN, one of the few on CNN the other day, older white woman saying, I usually have my mom over Thanksgiving. I don't know how I'm going to do that this year. I can't afford a turkey. I can't afford anything extra. I don't know how I'm going to do this. We should never hear stories like that.
Yeah.
I think we have the video. One of my followers, and I believe she's a Seneca supporter, also Donna Papadopoulos, posted this in response to me looking at another video saying Republicans did this, and I want people to know it. Like, this shouldn't happen. She said, she posted a video in her neighborhood in Spring Hill, Florida, with a food bank line that is a mile long, and said she's never seen this before. Take a look at this.
Oh, what? There we go.
She said in the tweet, she said she was on her way to the store to buy food. Fortunately, she can, and others need assistance. I saw this line at the food bank in my town. I have never seen a line this long before. This is the GOP in Congress. They have the ability to release emergency funds for people to eat, and they won't. Look at this line. It's still going. This is still going.
And what's crazy is that even when she stops filming, it's still going.
It's still going. This should not be happening. This is happening because of Republicans in Congress being intransigent and refusing to say no to Donald Trump and work on a bipartisan solution with Democrats on the issue of healthcare, which is about to go off a cliff November 1st. So look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, and when you look to the left, it just keeps going. They obviously stop, but wild.
I mean, that is wild. And that's just a microcosm. That is just one neighborhood in one small town in Florida, which is I believe it's Gus Bilirakis's district, which is the 12th district of Florida, if I'm correct, who's a Republican.
Mhm.
Listen, if Seneca Project had the money, we would be making videos and targeting those districts and saying, these are your constituents, Gus.
Yep.
Why are you home on vacation, not working in Washington so that your constituents aren't on a mile and a half long food bank line?
Here's the thing that, and I really want, someone brought up corporate welfare in the chat, and that I want to make sure we talk about that a little bit, because so
Mhm.
often, going back to this, people need to get a job. Service workers, service members aside, sorry, thinking about people who are in our communities who work for some of these major corporations.
Yeah.
Amazon just announced they're getting ready to lay off people across the country. We've got Walmart, all of these companies that people are working 40 hours a week, and they are being subsidized
Yep.
by our government. So when people say things like, oh, socialism, we are subsidizing some of the largest corporations that then turn around and give money to things like a giant ballroom slash bunker at the White House.
Correct.
But
Correct.
all that to say, these Republicans who have clearly decided that Donald Trump's desires are more important than the constituents who elected them. I really hope that those constituents understand what's happening truly. I see a lot of people parroting talking points about the Democrats are not willing to sign the resolutions and stuff. This is your Republican lawmaker, and I really hope you remember that when you head to the polling booth next
That
year.
that is correct, because it all matters. Pay attention to wherever you guys live who are watching right now. Make
Mhm.
sure you know who your congressman is, and make sure you catalog what they are doing or not doing during this time right now, as we're watching our fellow Americans and service members and children and teachers and government workers who just want to go back to work, have to literally go to food banks. And if there's a food bank and you are able in your community, please go and support it. We're hearing reports all over the country of food banks running low on supplies because
Mhm.
they are trying to meet a need that they have not seen since COVID. And so if you are in a position where you can help your local food bank, please do that,
I
because
want to I want to hop in on that too, because I think so often people think that they're going to go to the grocery store and buy something to donate to the food bank. Of course, if you have things in your pantry that you can hand off that you're never going to use, do that. It helps you, it helps them. But so often food banks have the ability to purchase in bulk in a way that us as individual consumers do not, and they
Mhm.
get tax breaks. So if you've got 10, $15 to spare, that often goes a lot further if you just donate it. So
That's a
clean
good
up the
point.
pantry, but give money versus going to buy things, because then they can also just get the things that they need for the people that they serve.
That's true, and also because a lot of these food banks are nonprofits, so they get that tax write-off, and if you donate the cash, you also get a tax write-off, so, it's a win-win for everyone. So, I can't even believe we're having this conversation in October of 2025 with no national disaster or, worldwide pandemic happening, but welcome to Donald Trump's America.
Mhm.
I also wanna show something else, another point about what it means for the SNAP benefits that are going to, that we're gonna lose. What is happening? Hold on one second, sorry. Okay, the SNAP benefits that everyone's talking about, SNAP, 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 food assistance, food assistance. We're like, okay, what does that really mean in practical terms? Today on Deadline Washington, Deadline White House, Nicole Wallace did a quick segment, I think we have it, Mal, where
Mhm.
she talks about what Donald Trump's government has canceled
Mhm.
because the SNAP benefits run out. In a lot of states, I mean, well, first of all, forget the states for a minute. The USDA has the ability to release emergency funds. They have them for the rainy day fund. It's a couple $1 billion. They do not have to let these SNAP benefits run out. But the Trump administration has told them no. We're not going to use those reserves because I guess they're okay with people starving. So, okay, well, if that's the case, then you have to make sure that your states and your localities make up the difference. But here's also who is providing the food, because we have to remember that the USDA oversees these programs, right? The food stamp program, and that those goods come from our farmers. They come from our dairy farmers, our cattle ranchers, our poultry producers. They rely on those contracts to provide food for the breadbasket of America. They, our farmers, provide that food. Well, they're suffering from another area too, because Donald Trump's administration has decided to cut a bunch of these contracts and I guess just let this go to waste. Take a
Here you
listen.
So, Alex, these are the food deliveries canceled by the Trump administration: 2,300 gallons of milk, 29,000 pounds of turkey breast,
Oh my God.
1,200 gallons of milk in Kentucky, 270,000 eggs. And we just have an election where the price of eggs was determinative. These are all orders canceled by Donald Trump.
That is 27,000 gallons of milk. How do the dairy farmers in Wisconsin, a swing state who voted for Trump, how do they feel about that?
And how are they they're not gonna be able to make that up.
No. No, you can't make that up. Milk goes bad. So you know what's going to happen? Donald Trump is going to bribe the farmers and take, I don't know where the money's going to come from, since $40 billion is going to Argentina, while our American families and farmers suffer. Why this is not a national fucking ad campaign right now by the Democrat super PACs that have the money. This should be everywhere. Everywhere. In Kentucky, you do the 50-state strategy. Kentucky is losing all of that money. Mitch McConnell, Scott Jennings, your home state there. How do you all feel about the fact that Donald Trump's administration decided to cancel those contracts and hurt your farmers? The ones that are already suffering from the soybeans that are not getting sold this year, from the cattle from the beef that's not being bought this year, or the cattle or the ranchers and the farmers who lost billions of dollars collectively from the USAID program getting canceled this year when they planned years in advance. There's a reason why the farm bill is renewed every 5 years, because farmers need time to plant their crops and prepare for things. Like, this is so messed up. And it is, I hate to say it's an opportunity, but it's an opportunity in this environment for Democrats to go after Trump's own people. Every time that Democrats get in front of a microphone and they mention 42 million people are going to lose their benefits and kids are going to go hungry, they need to say, including people who voted for Donald Trump.
Yep.
Every time they need to say this.
You know who's doing that though? Rep. Stansberry. She's like such an, in my opinion, overlooked person when it comes to like standout communicators.
Yes.
She's whenever there are like hearings and she's questioning people, I mean, she's always on the money. She always is communicating well. So listen to this.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to just say right off the bat that we are 5 days away from SNAP benefits being cut off from 42 million Americans. And not only is Donald Trump not here, not negotiating, Mike Johnson has now shut down the House for 39 consecutive days. That means he has canceled votes. It means there is no Republicans here. It means there's no one to negotiate with. And across town, the president is building a $300 million ballroom while he is set to let Americans starve. So Democrats showed up for work this week. We are here on Capitol Hill. We are having a hearing right now to talk about health care, to talk about food assistance. But this is an emergency situation, and these guys haven't even bothered to show up for work.
Bingo.
Bingo. And also, you know, as many times as they can say that the ballroom is paid for by sponsors or corporate whatever, then I feel like also Democrats should be saying, then why can't we redirect that money to feed people right now? Is the ballroom really that important to you? I don't care who's paying for it. Why can't we redirect those funds? People are starving in one of the wealthiest nations on the planet.
Working people on top of that, right? People who are working or who want to go to work but can't because they've closed the government are going to starve or can't, afford for their families. I mean, there was a TSA agent who is required to work. They're essential workers not getting paid, saying, she was on CNN, I think it was this morning, talking about how what's different from last time with this shutdown is that they had a lot of outside support. So let's just remind the class and the people in the back. The last time we had a shutdown that went for 35 days, which was the longest in history, was under Donald Trump 1.0. So here we are. We're going to surpass that I have no doubt about this. I think they're in
Estimates are going to November 21st.
right, like almost
Maybe longer.
Thanksgiving. That's yeah, because they're piecemealing money here and there. They're making sure certain folks are getting paid, but others aren't. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. A lot of it's illegal. It's just crazy. But the bottom line here is that she said that they had a lot more um, resources that helped them. So she was a TSA agent in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia airport. She said that they were getting free passes from SEPTA, which is their metro system. They're
Mhm.
right that they didn't have to pay tolls to go over the bridges because that's expensive. If you live in New Jersey and you need to go over the bridge, people were helping with gas. People were helping. They were getting food assistance from outside organizations. They said this time, oh, like Oprah Winfrey and celebrities and stuff. This time, there's none of that. It feels like people in the country aren't outside of the government worker folks aren't really fully appreciating what's happening
Yeah.
because it feels like things are still working. Like even national parks are open this time, but they're a mess because nobody's working them, but
Well,
they're open. So
it's interesting that you say that because the word on the street here is I live in Huntsville and lots of government workers here, lots of
right, a lot of military
military, and then also lots of government contracts. There's Lockheed Martin. There's all the major players are here, and it seems like there is an effort to essentially prove that the government can keep on working even when people aren't working. And I'm not going to say any more than that based on what I know, but like there's definitely an effort to kind of be like, well, if you guys are still getting stuff done, then what's the point? And so there's a lot of folks here who are collectively catching on to that and going, okay, I'm putting my phone down. Because there's many people here, and I think you have to remember, there's many people here, especially in some of these government contracts, who are doing quite well for themselves. And I think that's obvious. You know, anybody who's working with Lockheed Martin is doing okay for themselves.
right.
So this doesn't necessarily financially impact a lot of people here in that way. So they keep working because they're proud of their jobs and they're proud of the work that they're doing and the progress that they're making. And I think this latest revelation has made people go, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep working them because I don't want Trump's administration to think that we can just keep moving things forward even without getting a paycheck. So someone put in the chat, the government won't reopen until after the midterms. Buckle up. That's the plan. And we would be remiss to not say that there has been some conversation about that behind the scenes.
Listen,
This could go on for a really long time.
it could, and Michelle is always the one who says, don't suffer from lack of imagination. And she said in our chats, she goes, they don't ever want to open the government again. And I'm like, look, I don't put anything past these people.
Yeah.
They have broken every norm. They're breaking laws. They don't give a shit. Trump thinks he's unstoppable. And it's not until enough people pay a price, unfortunately, whatever that means, whatever that looks like, until folks are going to start the electeds are going to start standing up and going, okay, we got to do something about it. I don't know what that looks like. And I really don't, I hope it doesn't get to that point, but this is unlike anything I've ever seen. I've been in politics for over 30 years. I've seen a bunch of shutdowns. This is so different. There has never been a time when Congress is out of session and you have a Speaker of the House refusing to bring Congress back into session to negotiate. I've never seen anything like this. And then lying about not seating Congresswoman-elect Grijalva and just becoming even more emboldened about that. He's such a liar. I cannot stand that little Keebler elf fuck, Mike Johnson.
Shall we play what he said next?
Yes. This was today on CNN with Dana Bash, and she let him get away with it, but I like Dana, but today she let him get away with it, which is a little annoying, but let's take a listen to this little twerp.
Is that this has been a stalemate for 30 days, and it's not just Democrats. You also have one of the most conservative Republican senators, Josh Hawley, who says, at least please move money around to feed people. Why not consider that?
Because if you deviate from the goal of reopening the entire government, Chuck Schumer and the radicals over there will continue to play games with people's paychecks, their livelihoods. And if you do just part of this, it will reduce the pressure for them to do all of it, to do their basic job, and that is reopen the government. This is very real and very serious, and they can end it today. They can do it right now. All they have to do is, we just need 5 more Democrats in the Senate to help us reach the 60-vote threshold. We don't have enough Republicans to do the right thing on our own. We need them to do the right thing.
Does it give?
Okay. First of all, you people are in charge of everything. Of everything. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I want to throw my TV whenever I hear them repeating this bullshit. I would be like, "Are you not in control?" They can say, "Oh yeah, but we need the threshold in the Senate." But you're not the Speaker of the Senate,
Well, then come up
right?
with a better plan.
Right. No. How
Come up
about
with a plan.
don't worry about what the Senate is doing. Bring the House back in because
Mhm.
nothing can originate in the Senate. Okay. The spending bills have to originate in the House. And he knows that. And so he's just double talking. And then, Republicans having this righteous anger now about, oh, this isn't fair. Senator John Thune, again, his balls dropped, I guess, 2 days ago. And he went on the Senate floor and decided, oh, this is not fair. And we're hurting Americans and hurting farmers. Fuck off. No, you are. Don't. Why are you
Yeah,
mad?
we put this in front of you 13 times. Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. You're
A lot of people in the chat have asked if we think that the Dems will cave eventually. I am curious. Do you think that they will? I'm a little concerned that they might.
Honestly, if I'm a betting person, which I'm not, I think they cave.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to happen is because Democrats don't play tough ball like this. This
Mhm.
is the Republican game, and I'm glad that they've held the line so far. But I think there's going to come a point where they're going to cave, and that's going to be at their own peril.
Well, I think they have to weigh the pros and cons of letting people, I shouldn't say letting people, but causing this short-term suffering, we hope, for long-term gain when it comes to healthcare subsidies, or they let the Republicans fall on their face with healthcare, except that every American suffers in the long term because of that. And unfortunately, people have amnesia when they go to vote and when they deal with their representatives. And so, and Republicans being the messengers that they are, unfortunately, by the time the midterms roll around, they would have found a way to twist themselves in knots and make it the Democrats' fault that their healthcare has gone up. We have a graphic that we've shown. Oh, I just made us so close together. Sorry. We have a graphic that we'll show here in just a second, just to really illustrate how much healthcare will increase, healthcare premiums will increase. But it's just a matter of, I think voters, they forget, and especially when given time to message something else, by the time the midterms roll around, they'll be like, why did the Democrats do this to you? And people will be like, yeah.
Well, they're already starting to question that. I mean, some polls show that people are blaming Republicans more than Democrats, but not by a lot. Earlier this week, CNN showed a poll that showed that Republicans had a net favorable gain of a couple points during the shutdown, which is just insane. Again, that is a dereliction of duty on the part of Democrats in the messaging because they've taken their foot off the gas. They've ramped it back up again because of the snap cliff and also because of the healthcare open enrollment starting. So people are going to start getting those notices. And so that was the opportunity. But there was like a 2-week lull during this where they took their foot off the gas and let Republicans get some momentum to blame them. So you can never take your foot off the gas. On my Substack yesterday, I have a Substack, you guys. It's called Uncompromised with Tara. Check it out. I did an interview with Rachel Bidicoffer, who has been my soul sister on negative partisanship and the absolute imperative for Democrats to speak in plain language, to drop all the other superlative stuff and just talk to people like normal and use negative partisanship. When you are suffering, you have to find someone to blame. Republicans have become masters at this. Democrats aren't used to playing in this arena. So that's why I say, they're doing a good job sort of kind of now with holding the line. That's right. That's what you do. But you have to do all the other parts to sustain it.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that in the yesteryear of politics and Michelle Obama's when they go low, we go high is just, it's honestly not an option anymore.
No.
And I, when I ran for office in 2018 and 2022, I very much ran on this, we need better leadership. We need people to be representatives, that our young people can look up to. And we trying to really stay above the fray. And unfortunately, we're just past that. We're just past it. And I listened to your live with Rachel and it's true. We've got to get in the mud, unfortunately.
Yeah. And the thing about it though is, and I always make this point, you can fight and you can fight hard and you can be skilled, but you don't have to fight dirty. It's very Karate Kid, right? It's defense until it's not anymore because offense wins elections. What do I always say, Mal? Defense wins championships, but offense wins elections.
Yeah.
And you can play defense only to a certain point, but Daniel LaRusso he didn't win in a defensive posture. He won with the kick, okay? Because that's what you have to do. The famous kick. I can't do the kick because I'm sitting down, but anybody who's seen the Karate Kid knows what I'm talking about. What did they try to do? The Cobra Kai wanted to sweep the leg, which is playing dirty. That's what Republicans do.
Yeah.
So they play dirty. So I'm not saying you go out there and you play dirty and cheat. No, you play better and
Strategic.
stronger and harder. That's right. You just don't ever want to become what you despise. That's where I draw the line. Do not become what you despise. But you can still play hard and you still can play stronger and tougher without being dirty and cheating. So,
well, I also, I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole of like what's wrong with democratic politics, but I also think, you know, there is a line where you were saying like just plain speak, talk to people like normal. And in our big tent, there are lots of different coalitions of people who all have different thoughts about how we should do things and how we should say things. And we all get so caught up in all of that you're just going like this with each other instead of actually devising a strategic plan to win elections and putting your head down and doing the work to get there. And so I try really hard to remind my friends when they're like, they're unhoused people. And I'm like, they're also homeless. And you know what? That is a hill we don't need to die on. Instead, let's look to the future and figure out how we can win elections so we can actually impact whether or not those people have homes.
1000%.
Stop fighting over the language that we're using, although you can still be mindful. I'm not saying not to be mindful, but it's just, there's just this idea.
Don't talk that way.
Yeah.
I was like, what? The unhoused? Listen, my mom started a faith-based homeless program down in the Florida Keys when she lived down there. And I helped her get it off the ground. I just helped her with the admin stuff. She did all the real hard work, helping to save people's lives. And guess what? They were homeless. Okay. Nobody was talking about unhoused. It's just nonsense. Okay. And so that kind of nonsense is what gets Democrats caught up. And meanwhile, the political hive mind that is the Republicans and MAGA, they all go, they're lockstep on the same thing. It doesn't matter what's going on. And that's dangerous. Right. It's dangerous, but it's also necessary if you want to win. So, here's an example. Speaking of winning, we have elections coming up on Tuesday in New Jersey, in Virginia, where I live now, and Pennsylvania and California. Things are looking pretty good in California. So if you're out there in California, if you haven't voted yet, please vote yes on Prop 50. Vote yes, vote yes. I like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but buddy, sorry, you're wrong on this one. Vote yes on Prop 50, because this is an example of playing hard and not cheating. Okay. So Republicans want to go and they want to do mid-year redistricting. Okay. Well, it's allowed. It's not usually what happens, but it's allowed. Okay. You guys want to do that? We'll do this in California, and it's temporary. We will go back to normal rules of order after we get out of this. So please, in California, vote yes on Prop 50. Now, New Jersey's a little tighter. That is not a guaranteed win. I feel a little bit better about here in Virginia. I think Spanberger will pull it out, even though Republicans are pouring $4 million into Winsome Sears' campaign, who's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? An absolute lunatic, incompetent lunatic. But they are pouring a lot of money into her campaign because there was an opening because of some controversy with the attorney general candidate here texting some very horrible things, and I get it, but that gave them an opening because they had written this election off. They had written Winsome Sears off, and then that gave her a little, and she's closed the gap considerably. But I do think Spanberger will pull it out. New Jersey, my home state, guys. If you live in New Jersey, you got to vote for Mikey Sherrill. You have to vote for Mikey Sherrill and bring 5 of your friends here, okay? Jack Chitterelli, I don't care what he says. He is going to do what Donald Trump wants him to do, and it's going to hurt the state of New Jersey. It's so obvious. And there are very Jersey-specific things that are happening there that he's not going to address because he's going to be caught up in Donald Trump's cult there to make sure, because Donald Trump will just hold federal funds over him and he'll do whatever he wants. We cannot have that. But here's an example. Like we showed you Stansbury, who was very effective as a messenger. I just want to use an example of what we were talking about that frustrates us about some Democratic candidates.
The single most important policy element of your campaign that delivers on that American dream, or would deliver on that American dream message?
Well, it's affordability, Lawrence. As we've talked about before, costs are skyrocketing here, and the president's making everything worse. So that's why on day one, I'm declaring a state of emergency on utility costs, using gubernatorial powers like no one else has done to freeze rate hikes and immediately start to drive down costs. Because I want people here in New Jersey to know this is not a 10-year program. This isn't a strongly worded letter. This isn't a study group or a working group. On day one, I'm getting to work and driving costs down here in New Jersey.
Okay, we have another one. That one actually wasn't so bad. It's the other one.
It
wasn't that
money,
one,
as
it's the
the
other one.
president said he's
This
going
one.
to do, because that will be illegal with congressional appropriations. And then at the same time, we're just to sort of defray the attacks from Washington, we're going to have to make Trenton function better so we can continue to drive innovation. Finally, working with the Northeast corridor, and right now we're seeing, because of RFK Jr.'s attacks on healthcare, there's a coalition in the Northeast of governors who are acting together to make sure people can still have access to vaccines. There's still good medical data. And I've already heard we have in both Massachusetts with Governor Healy and here in New Jersey, we have a lot of the pharmaceutical base. Some of them are saying, we're not sure how we're going to get new drugs to market without the FDA. So working in conjunction with the governor so that we can continue to create innovation and new pathways in our states.
Okay. I don't know what she said because I tuned out 10 seconds in. I have no idea.
Democratic policy.
Listen, you can't bring a policy pen to a political warfare fight. That is the policy pen. Okay. That is a wet noodle wiffle ball bat going like this.
Well,
okay?
Here's the problem though. That should be what we expect and desire from our politicians. It should be the level of understanding that people running for office have when it comes to what they're dealing with, where they're running, and who's going to benefit. However, they don't say, I was a news anchor. They don't say, right, like you're talking to a fifth grader, unless they really mean that you need to talk like you're talking to a fifth grader.
It is so true.
And unfortunately, that's where Democrats get lost.
Listen, you can talk like that in committee meetings
when
you're,
and you should,
right?
And
Those are conversations that should be happening in committee meetings when you're writing legislation. When you're campaigning, no, because the average American has no fucking idea what innovation economy is and whatever the fuck. No. How about, it's three things. You keep it simple, like she did in the other example. We messed up the
Sorry,
order.
I played them in the wrong order.
Okay, that's okay. But it's like, but somebody, I'm sure her communications folks said you got to shorten that. So when she went on Lawrence O'Donnell, she had a more on day one. I'm going to declare a state of emergency, and it's affordability, and we're gonna fix those utility bills, and we're not gonna acquiesce to Donald Trump. Yes, that's what you do. So it's a constant struggle. Hopefully they'll get there, but there's a lot at stake with these elections on Tuesday. I don't care what anybody says, where they're like, oh, don't read into them and blah, blah, blah. No, don't believe that, because there will be lessons to be learned from wins and losses with whatever happens on Tuesday. Pennsylvania, you guys have a state Supreme Court races going on there. That is important. These are the people who are going to decide if there are election shenanigans or some kind of shit that they try to pull there. The state Supreme Court will be the ultimate deciders in the state of Pennsylvania. Just think about election integrity. So hopefully we'll see. I mean, by the next time that we're on air, we'll know the results of this. Unfortunately, we will not have a show next Thursday because I will be traveling. But in 2 weeks, we'll be able to talk about it again. But with what happened there, and that we'll have plenty of data to analyze it. But okay, guys, come on, New Jersey. I need y'all to pull it out.
Okay, but speaking of election integrity, shorten that to elections.
Yes.
2028, is being already manipulated by none other than the wife of the late Charlie Kirk. Erica
God.
Kirk has turned the Turning Point USA arrow in the direction of our Vice President, JD Vance. And it is, you know what? Here, I'll just, in the chat, just let us know. It is.
What do you think? What is this giving, guys? What is this giving? That
It
is JD Vance
is.
and Charlie Kirk widow Erica Kirk at an event at Ole Miss down in Mississippi the other night.
It is
I
black
mean,
leather pants. And I'm sorry, I only hug my husband like that.
right,
Hands in the hair,
right. On the head,
hands on the hip.
on the hips.
I'm just saying.
Listen, we have had in our chat some conversations. There are some theories out there about who he would prefer to be married to.
Usha, you're in danger, girl.
I think she's been in danger for quite some time. Rumor has it that they're not exactly a match made in heaven there. It's not exactly a honeymoon. But
Well, I don't think any
could you
woman
imagine?
would truly be a match made in heaven for him, but
Not a woman, no.
that's neither here nor there.
No, it's not.
Maybe he and Erica can share a makeup artist.
Listen, they can swap
Their eyeliner.
eyeliner and concealer.
Foundation colors are
Foundation
closer
colors,
together,
yes,
you
yes.
know.
Fight for the mirror.
Can't borrow Usha's makeup.
I don't know if people saw, but he was on some podcast and just saying horrible things. He actually accused Kamala Harris of being an alcoholic, saying that she slept until 1 o'clock in the afternoon and then they started to hit the bottle. I mean, he just said awful things in this podcast. And it's all a joke, all a joke. No, it's not. Okay. You're a fucking terrible person. He also made comments about understanding why people in some neighborhoods and communities wouldn't want to live next to neighbors who are different than them, who have 20 people living in a house and 5 families living in a house that speak a different language. I can understand why people wouldn't want to live next to that. I'm sorry, what? Are you talking about your in-laws? Did you see who you married? Did you see that your wife is a woman of color? She's Indian, and a lot of Indian families live together generations. Mom, grandma, right? Kids, like, because
by the way,
families
also
deal. What are you doing?
worth, because they've learned that makes your life easier.
Yes, it's community.
Coming from someone who has a newborn baby, I'm like, I wish my in-laws lived in this house. What do you mean?
Right. But we all know what he meant.
No,
okay?
I know exactly.
We all know what he meant. And that was, I thought, absolutely despicable. And it's in line with it. I don't know if you guys saw, I didn't give this to you to pull. I'm just thinking about it now. The Department of Labor photographs that look like Nazi propaganda. So if you guys Google Labor Department advertisements, it's been making the rounds. There are these like Norman Rockwell / like Nazi type of all white people, like white males in their, like in the fields to like come for labor workers, saying like, make labor great again. And it's all white men. It's all little white families standing in front of their picket fence houses. Like there's like a dozen of these propaganda posters that the Department of Labor, our tax dollars, are paying for to promote labor.
I have not
and the American dream.
But I have seen many interviews with farmers, farm workers, manufacturers who say the help is not the same when the melon is missing.
Right.
It's not.
No, it's not. The work ethic is different, and people know this.
Yeah.
And instead of demonizing and dehumanizing our immigrant population and the people who come here to work, make a better life for themselves, how about we fix the immigration system and fix the guest worker programs, fix the visa programs so that people are not exploited, and then we don't have mass deportation, Gestapo Nazis out here destroying families and neighborhoods and doing what they're doing around the country, which leads me to the next story that we have to talk about just quickly, that the immigration raids are still happening and the National Guard is still being deployed. And now we hear breaking news this morning that the Pentagon is readying thousands of National Guard, quote, reaction forces as U.S. mission widens. They say up to 23,500 troops across the country are being readied and trained for, quote, civil unrest missions in U.S. cities.
My question is, where is the civil unrest?
Oh, it's not yet. They are manufacturing it so that they can declare a national emergency and, I don't know, hijack the elections next year or declare an insurrection act and start, locking places down. I'm sorry, I don't mean to scare the bejesus out of people, but this is not funny. This is unprecedented, and it should concern everyone. And so this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. And you know what else they're doing? They're moving some of their top administration officials onto military bases. I'm sure people have heard about Kristi Noem living in the Coast Guard Commandant's digs, which she shouldn't be. Well, guess who else is now living in military housing that we pay for? Mind you, they get $220 something thousand a year because I'm sure Donald Trump has maxed out all of their salaries at SAS level. SAS levels. So, Stephen Miller and his despicable ghoul wife of his, who's just as horrid as he is living in military housing.
I've got something for you. Here you go.
Officials are moving onto military bases. What?
Marco Rubio as well?
Yes.
Just saw that.
Yes.
I'm sorry. He looks like a thumb. A toe, maybe.
He looks like a diseased something.
What do you think, before we wrap, what do you think is the reason that they're moving to military housing? Because it's obviously military housing is not that nice.
No, but in some places, officer housing is quite nice. And if you like places here in DC,
That's fair, yeah.
I forget the name where the Naval War College is. Over there, it's beautiful. It's right on the water, right on Anacostia. It overlooks the wharf. Like there are places where they have very nice officer housing. Regular military housing, it's kind of like a subdivision. Everything looks the same, like barracks. No, this is different. I think there's a couple things going on here. I think that they want to be walled off in case things go down. They want the protection of a military base. That's mainly what I think it is, so that they can feel like they're hunkered in, which
they're too far away from the bunker that's being built.
I know. I mean, it's all just so ridiculous. I cannot.
Yeah.
So just couple things, little tidbits that people may not have known that you now know tonight to pay attention to. But speaking of the bunker, before we get to the bright spot tonight, because we always need it. I mean, Mallory is the bright spot tonight just because, but we have an added bright spot. New moms and babies, bright spot, and Fab, bright spot. However, before we get to that, there was no way that we were going to let the situation go concerning this ballroom and what Donald Trump has done to it, because we're watching all of this destruction. Now he's like literally demolishing the people's house and our democracy. And so here is the Seneca Project's latest video, The People's House.
The People's House. For more than 200 years, history has been made within these walls.
My fellow Americans, I am about to sign into law the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I want to take this occasion to talk to you about what that law means to every American.
Where presidents honored heroes.
John Lewis has earned our lasting gratitude for a lifetime dedicated to the pursuit of equality and justice for all.
I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, with distinction, to my brother, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr.
Over the arc of his life, President Bush has served our nation as a tremendous force for good, and we proudly salute him for his unwavering devotion to our country and our world.
There just aren't enough words to thank you for all that you've meant to all of us, and how hard it is to say goodbye to all of you.
wars ended.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
And unity endured.
Mrs. Kennedy, this is the East Room pretty much as Americans have known it now for 60 years. Obviously, you haven't felt that you had to make any great changes in it.
No, I think it's lovely. I hate to make changes, really. So when you find a room like this, it's wonderful.
History remembered.
This is the end of the room where Pablo Casals played for us, where we had a portable stage built when we had the Shakespeare players.
Where the arts are celebrated. And first ladies led. Where families gathered. This house is not his palace.
President Trump's expanding plans to architecturally transform the White House.
We learned today includes the complete destruction of the East Wing.
Its walls cannot speak.
The first images that emerged on Monday of the ripped-down walls of the First Lady's wing sparked criticism from those who want to preserve the history of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
The First Lady's office has already been demolished. A family theater and a gift shop will also be flattened.
But they will remember.
You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it. I love it. I think when I hear that sound, it reminds me of money.
This house survived fire, war, and grief.
It was never thought of as being much. It was a very small building. It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite. Near it, but not touching it.
This is a building that belongs to all of us as people. This is part of our heritage. This is part of our story as Americans.
Multiple East Wing alums across administrations are stunned by the demo images, sharing this quote from former First Lady Betty Ford: "If the West Wing is the mind of the nation, then the East Wing is its heart."
We must make sure it survives him, too.
I mean, it's tough to look at the history and all of the amazing iconic moments and to know that Donald Trump just ripped that away from us. And when Michelle and I were working on that video, we were talking about what we were going to do and what images we would pull and how we wanted to put that together. And we spent hours going through historical footage and the whole idea of it's not yours. Like, do people really fully understand what happened in that part of the White House? Every image that we show in there and that happened in the East Wing of the White House. There are some pictures that are the East Room, which is still standing for now. I don't know how much longer, but the Christmas parties, the family theater, the iconic picture of Bo and Obama running down the hallway, the colonnade there where the beautiful Christmas decorations are, where as the visitors entrance, the Jackie's garden, all like historic trees, so many things. I mean, gone.
Yeah, it's
Gone.
we were talking about it in our house, and I think it's, so many of the things that Donald Trump has done are things that might take time, but over time can be undone. Policy, procedural things, even traditions, etc. There are things that, they have done that are awful, but most of those things can be reversed, we hope, right?
Right,
The
right.
the impact will last, but over time. But this is such a physical representation of just what is happening in our country, and it can't be undone. And
I
I
know.
think that's the thing that just breaks your heart about it, is like there's history and tradition and so many things tied up in that. And it's a building, right? It's just a building, but it's
But
not.
it's not,
It's not.
right? It's
And
more
I
than
think
just a building.
I think that's what makes it so sickening.
Yes.
It's such a microcosm of the entirety of
Of
the
all of
country.
it. Of
Yeah.
all of it. And when I heard the audio of, what Betty Ford said about the West Wing being the mind and the East Wing being the heart, I said, "That's what we ended on."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's what we ended on, Michelle." And because that's the truth. It feels like you ripped the heart out of the White House and out of government, out of our democracy, and we have to stop him. It is up to us to stop him. If that doesn't
Yeah.
infuriate you and inspire you to be like, enough is enough with this fucking guy. We've got to stop. Like, this guy's got to be stopped.
I mean,
We have to.
yeah. And it's interesting though, because I do think that Gen Z might save us. Not the ones in line for Turning Point USA at Ole Miss, not those ones. But there is an echelon of Gen Z that looks a lot like Miss Eilish.
Yes,
Our bright
yes,
spot.
yes. So our bright spot tonight.
You were
So
like, "Where are you going?"
no, I saw where we were going with
You were
that.
tracking, okay.
Yes, and so people were saying in the chat just before we go to Billie Eilish real quick, post it on our social media. It's posted everywhere on all our socials. So please like, subscribe, share it, pass it on. People need to see what Donald Trump did. And by the way, when I said that my reaction to that last aerial photo of the demolished East Wing of the White House, just like that satellite, not satellite photo, the aerial photo of it felt to me like the terrorist attack on the Pentagon. Like, I had a similar reaction. 6.5 million views on my tweet where I said it almost feels like when I saw the Pentagon on 9/11. MAGA came for me in a way that I hadn't seen in a very long time. I got death threats. I got we got inundated in our Seneca emails. They tried to go to Harvard and to UVA and to CNN and tell them to get rid of me. I mean, MAGA flipped out because they know that making that comparison, that basically Donald Trump finished what Osama bin Laden could not, it hits home. And they wanted to try to come for me. And I was like, too bad. I don't give a fuck. That's how I felt. Millions of people felt that way. And don't do stuff that reminds people of a terrorist fucking attack. And maybe we won't say that. So
I mean, also though, imagine caring more about what Cracker Barrel did with their logo.
Right.
And
Right.
their decor than you
Right.
care about the president destroying a historic building that he didn't have any, no.
It's just a renovation project, Mallory. I mean, come
And
on.
Obama did the same thing. By the way, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He made upgrades to the electrical and the HVAC, things that were approved by Congress during the Bush administration, by the way. So no, he didn't. He painted some lines on the freaking tennis court.
Right.
That's what Obama did. So
That's right.
before
Put a
you,
couple basketball hoops.
when you guys hear people or see people in comments saying that, just know it was approved during the Bush administration by Congress. Those were renovations and upgrades, things that needed to be done in order for the functionality of the house to move forward. It was not tearing down a building. Anyway.
That is correct. So on that note, our bright spot for the evening to leave you, because we don't want to leave you feeling solemn and pissed off. We want to let you know that there is still humanity out there. There are lots of other people like us who are doing the right thing. And Billie Eilish, speaking of Gen Z, has decided to donate $11.5 million from her tour to charities and to food banks and to help people, because she said,
and environmental causes, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she
It's
said,
a couple
go
of
ahead.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah. You found it, Mal. Go ahead. It's your bright spot.
Oh, I was just going to say, so last night at an event that happened at MoMA, actually don't even know. She was receiving an award. I don't even know what the award was, because what she said is what really took off. But she, sitting there in front of, I think Zuckerberg, basically said, there's a lot of people in this room who have a lot more money than me. And if you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire?
Yeah.
Basically, she looked at them and was like, that's weird. And she was like, no hate, but give your money away, shorties. And there's just something about Billie Eilish, who I think is at this point maybe 23, maybe 24.
Right.
I don't know how old she is, but looking at Mark Zuckerberg being like, that's weird. Was it Zuckerberg or was it Bezos?
I might have been Bezos. But
either way,
billionaires in the room.
Lots more money than she has. I just
That's right.
Like, you know what? That's right, girl.
That's right. I give her credit for standing up, not standing by, and for not staying silent and using her platform and her voice to call them out on that. So God bless if you're a billionaire and you acquired it legally, but also if you're in a position to help people, you need to help people, because you have more money than you could ever spend in 10 generations. So, don't be weird.
And that makes me want to go see her in concert. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
There you go. All right, folks. Well, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Mallory, thank you for hanging out with me. Appreciate you very much. Get back to your little guy. Mandatory.
I don't know if y'all can hear him, but he is screaming in the background.
He's screaming for his mama. We got to let you go. And I want a picture of him in his little pumpkin patch onesie.
Yes.
You got to do it.
We'll do it.
Check out our Seneca Project socials if you want to see the People's House video. It's everywhere. Also, I will post pictures and video later tonight or first thing tomorrow. Be safe out there on Cabbage Night, Mrs. Night, Gucci Night, Goosey Night, whatever you guys call it.
Whatever you call it.
Whatever you call it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.